Okay, the recording has just started. Evie, I think it's okay, yes. If it's okay for you, it's okay for us. Okay, so Marcos, the floor is yours.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you, Yuli. So today, guys, we're going to talk about, let's say, the main tools that you will need to design a part. And when I say main tools, I mean the tools that you want to use when you want to design something from the start until the end of it, until you will use the file to use it to print it on a 3D printer. So without further ado, I will start sharing my screen because I want to show you as much as I can today. I will try to be a little bit slower than the previous time so you can all keep up with me. And we will do small stops like every 5 or 10 minutes in order for you to keep up. So what is happening? I think somebody shared his screen. No? Okay, great, thank you. There it is. So, Yuli, can you confirm that you can all see my screen now? All right.
Yes, we can, yes.
Let me make this smaller. Okay, more small. Okay. So, first of all, we're going to talk about this bar here at the upper left. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tools to talk about. And without further ado, I will start with the first one, which is easy. I just dropped the box from here to here. I hope that you already know how to do this. I'll do it again. Just left click and drag the box on your work plane. So the first tool, hold on, enter, okay. The first tool is the hide tool. So if I have, let's say, let me drag a cylinder behind the box. So if I have a cylinder and I want to see the whole cylinder, but I can't see it, I can click on the box, go here on the upper left, and you can see this button, which is called hide selected, which helps you to hide what you actually selected. You can select more objects and hide them. Let me click it to show you. I just hide it. And I can work with my cylinder now, okay? Now, if I want to hide it, the only thing I have to do is go here and click show all. See, it goes back. So let's say that I also have a ball here. So I have these 3 objects. And I want to hide the box. So I go here, I hide it. And I also want to hide the ball. So I click on the ball, I go here and hide the ball also. Now, the thing with Tinkercad is that I can't unhide each one individually. I have to first click here, show all again. And then if I want just my ball to be hidden, I can hide it again. Just, I wanted to show you that just to keep that in mind, guys. The second tool that we're going to talk about is the grouping of our shapes or generally our objects. So this button here, as you can see, I cannot click it. Why? Because I haven't selected 2 or more objects. Now, if I click, let's say, on my cylinder, again, I can't use it. But if I shift and left click, remember what was that? It was just selecting both of them. So if I want to select both of them, I click on the one, And when I say click, I want you all to know that I mean left clicking. Okay, guys, if I do right clicking, I will tell you. So I click on the cylinder, shift, and also click on my box. So now I have both selected and I can actually go here and group them now. I just clicked it. And now, as you can see, they become one. They work as if they were one object. So if I just drag, let's say this dimension here, as you can see, this is one object now. It works like one, see? Let me go back a little bit. One interesting thing to show you. No, first of all, let me show you ungrouping, okay? So next to this button, which is group, is the ungroup button. And it's actually pretty self-explanatory, guys, right? If I click it, now I have two objects again. I can take my box, move it, and nothing happens to the cylinder. All right. One thing I want you to know, which is not really important, but I like this functionality, is that if I, as you saw, when I click on both and group them, they both become one color. So I can understand that I have one object now. But if I don't want that to happen, what do I do? What if I want, let me go back. What if I want both of them to keep their color? I go to each one, click here on solid, and click on this here, on this button, multicolor. Hold it. Why does it happen? Hold it again, guys. Let me check that out. Okay, so the thing is, I haven't grouped them. So in order to keep their color, you have first to group them. So we group them, and as you see, they become red. But if I want them to keep their color, I go here, solid, click on multicolor, and as you can see, I can have my colors back. But again, they work as one. Don't forget it, okay? They work as one object. So let's say that I want to group more things. So I have, let me drag one more box here, one more cylinder here. The thing is that when you group things, they work as they have a, let's say grouping is like a tree. So when I group those two, so clicking, shift, clicking again, and now grouping. So as you can see now, I have two objects. I can again click here, shift and click on the other, and again group them. Okay, so now I have one object. Can you see that? They work as one. All right. Now if I ungroup them, keep that in mind. If I click here again and I ungroup my objects, they do not become four objects. They're again two. Okay. So this one works as one and this works as one. If I want again to make them four, I ungroup this one, I click here, and I group this one also. And now I have four different objects. Okay. So as I told you, it works like a tree. So if I want all my objects to be grouped at once, I can select them like that, left clicking and select them all, or I can click, shift click, shift click, shift click. Okay, we can do both and group them. But now they work as one. Okay, but now if I ungroup them, they spontaneously become four objects. So keep that in mind, guys. When you group and you group again and you group again, the next time you ungroup the last group that you grouped. So keep, I was like, it was a little bit weird the way I said it, but I hope you all understood it. So yes, this is the grouping tool. It's very useful actually, and at the end of our webinar you will see why. And all those things are really useful because this is the your tools you will work to design. All right, let me delete this and let's go to the next tool. So let's say that I want to drag this random object. Okay, guys, I have two random objects right now. All right. And what I want now is to align them here on this line. And instead of, trying to go, let me go here and here, what I can do is actually shift clicking, and go to the align tool. Click here. So if I click here, now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 buttons to click. And what that means, each button works differently. So those 3 buttons here refer to this dimension. Let's call it X dimension, okay? Those 3 buttons here refer to this dimension. Let's call it Y dimension. And those 3 refer to the Z dimension, to the height, let's say. So let me go to the X dimension and show you what I mean. If I click on this one, as you can see, you can preview where your objects will go. So if I click here, they align at this line here. Let me go back and click again, align. So now, as you can see, I can click on the middle, and the middle one aligns them on the middle, as I told you. And guess what? The last one aligns them on the front. So as I told you, if I want to align my objects together, instead of doing that, I can just shift click, go to my align tool, and click here. So basically, if you understand this, you also understand those buttons, those 6 ones. The difference is that they refer to another dimension. So if I click here, as you can see, they will go in the middle. Or if I click here, they will align on this line. If I click here, they will align on this line. And if I'm talking about height, let me show you. If I click on the middle, they actually align here. Their middles align. If I click here, their tops align. And if I click here, their bottoms align. And the last tool is mirroring. I will go through mirroring and then I will stop. I want to know, guys, if you actually follow me, because this is important, because at the end of the lesson you will have a little bit of homework. I want you to design something by using those tools. We don't want it to be perfect, but we want to see how you perceive our webinars in order to become better. So, wait a minute. Okay. So, let me actually drag a cone here in order to show you. And a box. So one of the first objects that I created on Tinkercad, and I want to show you, is a cone that you see on the streets. So if I make this 3 millimeters, as you can see, the height becomes 3. And let's say I make this 30 by 30. There it is. So this is a nice base. And I can drag my cone here. Instead of trying to put it in the middle, as I told you before, I can click, shift click, and use my align tool, guys. So I align here on their middles align, and I also align them here. See, now I got a cone. And if I want it to be a little bit more beautiful, I reduce the radius here. And this is a cone. It looks like a cone, right? Okay, let me group them. As I told you, I can click here, shift and click on my base and group them. And now I got a beautiful purple cone. But since cones are red, let's change them to red, okay? All right. So what about mirroring? What about that? Let me drag a box. I don't want you to do that. I want you to understand the mirroring, guys, now. So you can do the mirroring after that, okay? You can do it by yourself. I want you to understand that. So let's say that I want to mirror my my cone to itself. So what I mean by mirroring, as you can see, I can click 3 buttons now. 1, 2, 3. What happens now, as you see, is it is mirroring itself from the midpoint. So if I actually rotate this one, come on. No, let me change it. All right. So as you can see, if I click mirror and I click here, it mirrors itself. Let's say that this this yellow thing is the mirror, guys, okay? So the mirror is always on the middle of my object. That's why it was before like that. So if I click it, it mirrors itself here on the z-axis, let's say. Let me go back. There we go. So the difference is that if I actually mirror it at this dimension, nothing happens, right? Because it's a cone. Nothing happens if I mirror it here. I'm clicking now, guys. Nothing happens because it's a cone. But if let's say that I use the B letter. Okay. So I use the B letter. Come on. Okay, and I have my B letter here, and I group them together. Okay, so they actually work as one now. Now, guys, if I mirrored it, I think that you guessed it. If I mirrored it here, my B letter will go here. But this is not a B, right? Because it's not rotating. Okay, I'm not clicking here and then rotating my cone. Now it's a B. I'm not rotating, I'm mirroring. So I'm clicking here. Sorry, let me go slower. I click on my object, go on the mirror tool, click. Now I have my 3 options. I click here, and this is not a B because it's a mirror. It's as you see on your mirror. You don't see yourself on a mirror. You see the opposite. Okay. So these are the basic tools for working and playing with your objects, and instead of just changing their dimensions, you can play with them and manipulate them this way. Okay, so now I'm going to stop for a little bit, and I'm waiting for your questions, or if you want to mention something, I want you to say it now. If you want me, let's say, to be a little bit slower or a little bit faster, I don't know. So let me stop share. Julie, are you with us? Okay, you may unmute yourself.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
For me, if you want my feedback, it was your pace was okay. I'm facing
Okay.
internet connection problems, so I could hear you, but I could see what you were doing like in 2 seconds.
2 seconds.
I
Okay.
don't know for the other people how it was.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Vangelis wants you to explain again the mirroring.
Of course, of
I
course.
think it's a good idea because if we're all facing the same problems with the internet, we actually pretty lost you there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Katerina also. So let's try with the mirroring, and again, we will ask for further questions.
Of course, guys, of course. Okay. Let me reshare my screen. All right. Okay. So here we are. Let me think of another shape which may help you. Um, hmm, All right. So the thing with mirroring is that I'm actually let me create some planes. You don't have to do it, guys. I'm just creating that to show you how mirroring works. Okay. One. This looks fine. Okay. Here. All right. Change the colors so I can. And actually, wait, actually, I can make them. Okay, that looks really better. Okay, guys. So I have 3 mirrors. Okay, I have 3 mirrors. And the mirrors are the ones that you can see that are transparent. 1 mirror, 2, 3. Each mirror refers to a dimension. So if I click on my cone and go to the mirror tool right here, I click it. Now I can click on 3 buttons, as I said before. 1, 2, 3. Each button mirrors the cone depending on the dimension that it refers to. And what I mean by that is, by this one, as the arrows show you, it mirrors itself. This button, you have to understand, it mirrors itself referring to this mirror. Okay. This mirror refers to this button. This button refers to this mirror, guys. Okay. So if I actually go here and click mirror, I click, and I just mirrored myself referring to this mirror, to this one, okay, to this one, the horizontal one. And the same thing occurs with the other ones. So if I click here again, mirror, I have 2 more buttons. This one mirrors itself. As you can see, you can always see the preview, guys. So every time that you don't understand, let's say what a button is, don't click on it. I'm just hovering my mouse here, and I can see what happens. See the B. See how it mirrors itself. Now, if I click it, it happens. If I click back again, it goes back. See? So not, right now I'm mirroring, referring to this mirror here. And let me mirror again. If I mirror like that, I click this button. Show it better. See, the B rotates itself by this mirror. It's 3 mirror, guys. Each button refers to a mirror. Okay, let me do the last one. Okay, here. I click my last button and the B rotated. Well, actually didn't rotate it, it mirrored itself. It mirrored based on this plane or on this mirror, if you like to. So I hope I explained that. I really can't go any further on that. I could maybe use a better shape, but right now nothing comes to my mind, guys. I'm really sorry. So
Marcos, we have a question that mirroring does not duplicate an object, it just shifts it in a mirroring dimension, right?
Exactly. It doesn't duplicate an object. It's like the mirror that you have in your home.
Okay. Any more questions for things? Okay, easy. Yes, there's things like that. Any more questions regarding the things Marcus just showed you?
If
Okay.
you want to duplicate, you have to duplicate first and then to mirroring the one of the two.
Exactly. So we will go there. We will talk about, let's say, advanced duplicating today. So we will go there. But I think I get what you mean, and yes.
Is there any way to mirror by another point instead of the middle?
No, that's a good question, and the answer is no. You always, let's say the program calculates a midpoint of your object, and it mirrors itself from the middle of it. So it always, let's say, has a mirror on the midpoint of your object. Very good question, Paula.
Okay. If you want to write something and if you don't have the time, please raise your hand so I can see and we will wait. Okay. Okay, back to you.
Perfect. Let me share. Okay, so we're back on our page now. So we just finished with our toolbar here, guys. We talked about all of them, and we also talked about if you remember the notes on the previous class. This is not really important in designing. As I told you, I can just hide or unhide my notes. These are the notes here, the notes tool that we talked about it at the previous webinar, and I can drag them. On my cone, let's say, and let's say click it. If I don't remember what this is, it's a cone, okay? And if I want this to not don't watch this, okay? If I can click it to watch what it is, but I can also go here, toggle nodes visibility, and just click and hide it, okay? Like I hide my objects, like this one. Okay. All right. So now we have 2 more tools, let's say 2 more very important tools. The work plane tool, as you remember, this is the work plane, this one. And think of the work plane like the table that you would work on, and the ruler, which is really close to what we know of how a ruler works. And I will try to go one by one to let you understand how its tool works. All right. Let me delete this one. And let me find a nice object. Okay, for those of you who want to follow me, I will be a little bit slower here. So let me actually explain this so you can all, maybe those of you who didn't went through it will go through it now. So why does this happen? Okay, this is better. So guys, beneath those three tools that we're talking about, we have some objects. Okay, the previous one was the basic objects, and that's how you start designing. You can use the box, as we said, you can use a cylinder and all that stuff. But also you can click here, and now a library comes up with a lot of, let's say, smaller folders with already created objects. So for example, if I go here, creatures and characters, okay, and I click on it, I can see some characters that I can use. Let's say I want to design a face, and I already have my eyes. Okay, I already have, let's say, those eyes, and I can use them on a face, let's say, of this doll right here. So you can actually navigate here. You can do that after the class, and actually navigate here and find objects and play with them. For now, let me delete those. And for now, I want you all to go to the design starters, which is, let's say, the next step from the basic shapes. Go to the geometric ones and find the icosahedron, the purple one. I'm going to drag it and put it here. All right. I will also drag my box here. And let's start analyzing our work plane tool. First of all, I also want something else. So I go back to my design starters and I will choose a letter. So as you can see here, you can click here and navigate through letters and numbers. Let's say that I take A, the letter A. Now, let's say that I want my A letter to fit exactly on my icosahedron. And when I say fit, is that I wanted to let's say sit on this plane here, but this plane is rotated by some degrees there or some degrees there. As you can see, it's not a simple design. So what I want to do, instead of moving it here, rotating it and moving it here, and see, I'm close but I'm not close, and I move it again, and now I'm just stuck, and I'll move it down a little bit and then move, and I do all this in order to place it. And even now I'm not sure that it's perfect. What I can do is use my work plane tool. And what I mean by that, put that back. What I mean by that is I can click on the work plane tool, click on it, and now a box with an arrow comes up. As you can see, guys, as I can move my, I want you all to do it, okay? Click on the work plane and navigate with the mouse on the planes, on the objects. As you can see, depending on the plane that you are, the arrow changes, and these is actually, if you click your work plane, this one, the big one, rotates and becomes the one that you have on your mouse right now. So right here, if I click, see what happens. It rotated itself. So now every time I go back and take, let's say, a number or a letter or whatever, a shape, and I drag it here, see? The thing is, it doesn't go like before. Let me show you. It doesn't go like that, like the A, okay? It doesn't go here. It's rotated depending on the plane that you created. So let me go back. So now I can easily drag my letter A, drag it, drag it, drag it here, make it a little bit smaller. Okay, and there it is. That's it, guys. I can put it wherever I want. So this is a very useful tool to place objects on other objects, or to place objects or rotated planes, which is really hard. This is a great tool for doing that stuff. Now, let's say that I want to go back to my main plane. The only thing that I have to do is go back to my work plane tool, okay, click on it, and then just click wherever I want, just not on an object, okay? Because if you click on an object, as you can see, it becomes orange, and it means that it's not my basic plane. Now it's blue, which means that I am on my basic work plane, okay? So I click here, and there we are. We are back on our basic work plane, and we can continue working on it. Now, another great use of that I find very interesting on my work plane is deleting parts. So let's say that let's go to the basic shapes. Let me drag a cylinder here. You know, let's make random stuff. Delete the A and the 9. All right, let me group those. Okay, I'm going a little bit fast, guys. So, but I hope you follow. So the only thing I did was just dragging those objects here, and I grouped my icosahedron with the A, so I can have them both. I will rotate it now. Okay, and there it is. So let's say that I don't like this, and I want half of the icosahedron, like that, for example. Okay, I want this part here, the bottom part, to be deleted. What can I do? So instead of trying to dimension it, you know, putting, let's say, a whole box here and moving it up and starting to dimensioning it and grouping it with a box, and, you know, doing that. That's not perfect. Okay, let me resize that. Okay, and grouping it so with my box, with my whole box. And now that I have it, I can do something else, something much clever. Go back. All right, I can just go here, use my work plane tool. So click on the work plane tool and go on the bottom of the box. Can you see? So right now my arrow looks down. It doesn't look up. It doesn't look up like that. It looks down. So if I click now, it's rotated by 180 degrees. And I can actually drag my box here. And as you can see, my box is placed rotated by 98 degrees. So I can just actually drag it, make it big, select all, group, and that's it. Okay, same problem occurs again. Let me make it bigger, a bit bigger. Okay. So I can group them, and now I have the shape that I wanted. Okay. And as we said before, I can always click on my workplane tool, click somewhere outside of the work of my objects here, and go back to my workplane. And I have a beautiful 3D weird shape with an A on it. All right. And the last tool that you have on your, let's say, work palette is your ruler, which works basically like a normal ruler, but it's very useful when you are trying to measure things, measure distances between your objects, and it's generally very useful, even if you, I just deleted that, okay, no problem. If you just want to change your dimensions real fast, and I will show what I mean in a minute. I don't like this. So I just drag the box and the roof, guys. And now I'm going to click on the ruler. And now I can put my ruler wherever I want, okay? Let's say that I put it on a random place here. So now if I click on my box, a lot of dimensions come up. Let's go through them one by one. So the green arrows here refer to the distance between this point, which is, let's call it our origin point, and this one. This is right now the point of reference. So if I change that to 20, or let's say to 15, and click enter, my point of reference goes 10 millimeters closer to my origin point. And I can change the dimension from 9, let's say, to 30. Now it went from 9 millimeters to 30 millimeters away from my origin point. And I can play with that. Like, let's say, for example, that I want this point to move like 15 millimeters. And I know that, no, actually, let me first explain also the blue ones. So the blue ones, guys, 1 blue arrow, 2 and 3. So as you both, or as you all actually understood, they refer to the maximum dimensions of my object. So right now my box is 20 by 20 by 20. And I can actually change the dimension instead of changing it the way that we showed the previous webinar. I can actually change it from here, let's say to 30, and the dimension changes. This is not 30. This is for sure not 30. So this is 40. Sorry. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back. So I can change it from 20 to 30, click enter, and there it is. Now, as I told you before, you can actually calculate the distances between your objects this way. So let's say that I want my roof to go exactly where my box stops. So the only thing that I have to do is, first of all, I click here, shift and click here, go to my align tool and align them on the front. Sorry, click, shift click, go on my align tool and align them on the front. All right, so I have them aligned here. But instead of that, what I can do really fast is click on the box, see that my point here is 15 millimeters away from my origin point and just see here that it's 16. So instead of using a line tool, I can just click 15 and they align by themselves because the distance is fixed. So let's say that I want the roof to start here, exactly here. The only, okay, let me show that again because some of you have connection problems. So let's say that my roof wants to stop exactly here, but let's say I can do it this way. Now, guys, this is, most of the times you will do it like that, the way I did it. But because you can use your snap grid. So as we said before here, you can change the millimeters that your object moves. I'm not sure if we talked about it. I will go through it again in a moment. Okay. So let's say that I want my roof to be fixed here. I can actually calculate the distance of this point, 15, plus 20, the dimension, and then go, which is 35, and click here, and I can see that I'm 47 away. So I can click 35, and there it is. They actually touch by each other right now. So, and another functionality of the ruler, okay, another functionality is using your midpoint, guys. So midpoint, if I click here, it changes the point of reference. So the point of reference right now for the box is this point, all right? If I click on the midpoint, the point of reference now is the middle of it. So can you see the cross actually here? So this is the midpoint of the X and Y dimensions. But as you can actually see, there's one more arrow now. And this arrow, this one, refers to the midpoint also of the height. So you have the midpoint of this axis, the midpoint of this axis, and the midpoint of this axis. And that's it, guys. That's it. Now, if in any case, if you click back again, you go back to this point. So if in any case, the last thing I want to tell you is you don't want to have a reference here at this point, and let's say you want to have this point as a reference, you can always click on your origin. See, the origin becomes red. Click here, and now the reference, everything changed. Okay, the blue ones don't change. Let me show you. See, it's 30 by 20 by 20 because this is your main dimension. They never change. So I click, they never change, the blue one. But the green ones change because now I'm referring to this point. If I click again, I'm referring to the opposite one. Click again, referring here, and so on. So this is the ruler, guys, and this is how you would calculate distances between objects when you design. All right, maybe I can stop here and listen to some of your questions, and then we can continue. Hi.
Okay, so is there any question about the ruler, the box plane? I think if you have managed to keep up with Marcos, everything would be straightforward. But again, if you have a question, please raise your hand. Unmute. No, everything's okay?
Nobody.
Nobody. Good.
All right. So how much time do we have? About half an hour, Yuli.
Half an hour, yes.
All right.
Maybe 20 minutes.
Okay. So I will go through a simple functionality for some of you. Let me share my screen really fast. Okay. Okay. So you may wonder what those buttons up here are. This one is called blocks, and this one is called bricks. So if I click here, the blocks, they become blocks. So it's pretty self-explanatory. Okay. I don't really know how to use this functionality, but if you click on the bricks, they become bricks. They actually become Lego bricks. Okay, so let's say that you design something and you don't want to print it. Okay, also on bricks here at the upper left, guys, you can make them even more, let's say the accuracy can be better. So if I click on the right one, see the accuracy become really better. And if you want, let's say your designs, not to print them, but make them with Legos, because most of you are teachers and have kids on schools. You can actually click on this functionality here on bricks, design something, let's say something like a car, and then see how you can make it with bricks, with Lego bricks. So I hope we had more time, but I want also to show you, let me go back. So if I go on the 3D design, instead of using bricks, I go on 3D design, I'm going back to my workbook. So we could go through that a little bit more, but since we don't have time, I want to show you something that you're going to use in order to create the object that we will ask you to create. All right, and this is actually the advanced duplicate functionality. So let me drag and drop a cone again. As you will remember from the last webinar, we can duplicate the cone by clicking on this button right here on the upper left. All right, now I have two cones. I can just click and drag it wherever I want. Now, if I hold my shift button, see what happens. It moves at one dimension, and this may help me move it wherever I want. So let's say I want it like 20 millimeters
May I
away.
interrupt for a minute?
Yes, of course.
I have a question from Margaris. The brick tool is for just viewing how a design will look in a Lego format.
Come again.
Margaris asks,
Let me see the chat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see the chat, please.
Is for just viewing how a design will look. Yes, it's just for viewing. You can't actually play with it. It's just, let's say, a viewing tool, nothing else. Okay, so yeah, no problem. Okay, let's go back to the course now. So let's say that right now, guys, I duplicated my cone, okay, but I haven't clicked away yet, and this is very important. I haven't clicked anywhere. If I now hover here and click duplicate again, see what happens. I duplicate, I duplicate, I duplicate, I duplicate. So it duplicates itself related to the previous object. And this is very important because I can create lines. For example, let's say that I have this cone again, but I duplicate it and I move it this way. And again, I haven't clicked away anywhere. We're left clicking, not right clicking. You can actually right click to rotate, but don't left click. As you can see, I click duplicate and it duplicates itself, referring to the previous one. Now, if I click away, let's say I click on another object or I click somewhere, anywhere else, and I go back to my last object that I duplicated and try to duplicate it, nothing happens. Well, actually something happens. It duplicates itself like the first one. So if I now drag it, say it was duplicated here. And again, if I click somewhere else now and click on my duplicated object and click duplicate it doesn't duplicate itself referring to the previous one. Just keep that in mind, guys. If you want to make, let's say, rows or lines of duplicated objects, you shouldn't click away.
Marcos, we have a question. Please look at the chat.
Can we do that and have it move exactly at a distance we choose? Yes, of course. Okay. So I mean, that's basically what I shown. Like, let's say I have a box here, and I click on duplicate, and I move it. This is a distance here, so I can change the distance. I can make it 10. Well, that doesn't look beautiful. I can make 25, and now start duplicating. Or now I have this box, and I can click duplicate it, shift, and drag it at 40 millimeters, let's say, and then again duplicate, and I create another type of row. Is that the question? Okay.
Yes,
perfect.
yes.
Perfect. Okay. What else did I wanted to tell you? Oh, yes. So let me delete some of those to make it simpler. All right. So we have our cone here, and what I want to show you is that we can create actually very interesting shapes. So I move my cone, let's say 20 millimeters away. No, that's not 20. Do that again. 20. All right. And I want also to rotate it. So I haven't clicked away yet. All right. I go to my rotate tool and I click my rotate tool and rotate it by 180 degrees. And without again clicking away, I click duplicate. Okay, it didn't happen. So I had this problem while I was doing it by myself, and I don't know why. Let me try to do that again. So I rotate. All right. No. Okay. It didn't happen. So let me do another interesting design so you can understand what I'm talking about. I don't know. This is maybe a fault of the program. I don't know. All right. So let's say that I have this, let's say, one step of a stair. What I can do every time I duplicate, now I can play with the duplicated part, do this and move it here and create interesting shapes. So as I told you, it duplicates depending on the previous duplicated part. So see what happens if I click and click and click. It creates a beautiful, let's say, sunny circle. And if I want it to be even more interesting, I can, so right now, guys, you don't have to follow. I can actually want to show you the functionality. You can actually play after that. So if I wanted to,
We have a question.
okay.
can someone
Can
duplicate
you
a
change the
group?
angle as well? Please show again. Yes, actually you can change the angle. That's what I tried to do before. So let's say that I will rotate it like that and start clicking away. Now see what happens. It always duplicates. Let's say I rotate it 40 degrees depending to the previous one. See what happens. It creates a very interesting shape, and they all depend on the previous duplicated part. I hope I answered to that question.
Yes,
And
we'll have another one because Evie sent something, but in a direct message. So she asks if we can duplicate a group of objects.
a group of objects, of course, of course.
Okay.
The answer is yes. Because when you group objects, they work like they are one object. Like the system understands them like they're one object. Okay, so the answer yes. The answer is yes, of course. And there's please show again. Okay, you can change the angle as well. Yes, I answered to that. Can we do? Please show again. So, Vagelis, can you tell me what you want me to show you from all that? Right. I'll just keep on a little bit, and he may answer us. So, as I told you before, they always. Oh, so he answered. I'm trying to do the steps. All right, we'll do it together. We'll do it together right now.
I'm sorry, Mr. McCreevis, for referring to you as a girl. Sorry.
All right. So I'm clicking duplicate. Okay. Now I moved it 50 millimeters here. I move it up, let's say, yeah, 2 millimeters up. And now I will also rotate it a little bit and move it wherever I want. So I have two steps here, like that. Okay. Now, if I duplicate it, can you imagine what is going to happen? Stairs are going to start appearing. A beautiful staircase, let's say to heaven. And let's see how is that. See, goes up and up and up and up and up, like that. So you can actually print this design. I was playing with it. Just I'm giving some ideas here. You can actually make a cylinder in the middle. Okay, let me change the preview. Okay, you can make a cylinder in the middle like that to hold your stairs, like that. Right? And as you can see, guys, you can actually print that. Of course, you have to use some supports, but you can print it. You can make, let's say, a beautiful house here on the top, like that. So, or instead of just doing it stupidly, like I tried to do it, you can drag your wall plank here and put a box here, which is, let's say, your house. And then clicking here, putting a roof up, and there it is. There it is. In just some very fast and simple steps, I created this thing. And you can do it too. It's really fast. It took me like 1 minute. So yeah, let's delete this one because we don't have a lot of time. And let me show you. Let me show you actually I wanted to show you how we'll split our objects, but maybe we don't have time. How much time do we have, Yuli?
20 minutes.
20 minutes. Okay, so we
Yeah.
have a lot
You're
of time.
okay, yeah.
Perfect. All right. So the thing that I want you to do when you leave our webinar is start playing with what we talked about today and create a 3D clock. It may seem a little bit overwhelming at the beginning, but we'll go through it really fast. You don't have to create a perfect clock. The only thing you have to do is follow the steps that I'm doing now in order to make it symmetrical.
Estava aqui, Corfu Library.
What?
Há aqui muitos gregos. Os nomes deles são
Let me
estranhos.
mute everybody. Yorgos, please mute everybody.
Este aqui era um nome grego, olha. Este.
Yeah. Mrs. Teresa Nito. Okay.
By the way, Marcos, is it possible for you to we can see your download bar at the browser? Can you just X that?
This one,
Yes, thank you.
like that. Yes. Thank you for mentioning. Okay. So let me do that again. So guys, I want you all to go to the basic shapes and drag a cylinder. And actually change the height of it to, let's say, 2 millimeters. And now I can uniformly make it bigger by clicking Shift and holding it and dragging it like that. It doesn't really matter the millimeters here. I just want it to be flat, so I make it again 2 millimeters, so it looks like a clock. And I'm dragging a sphere on top of it. All right. So what I want to do is place 4 spheres, one here, one here, one on the bottom, let's say on 6 o'clock, and one on 9 o'clock. But as you can see, they're not placed exactly where I want them to be placed. So I'm going to use my tools that I used before. And what I mean by that is I delete all of the balls. And first of all, I can use the align tool to align my 2 objects. So click, shift clicking on the other one, on the base, clicking align, and clicking on aligning on the middle, on this line. All right. And now, since I've aligned it, I can duplicate it and shift and move it here. But let's say that I moved it here, and this dimension is bigger than this one. Okay, this one is bigger than this one, and I want them to be equal. How do I do that? I can use my ruler tool. I can click here and actually do some calculations. So clicking here on the base, and I can see that this point here is 5 millimeters away, and this ball here is 19 millimeters away from my origin. So 19 minus 5 is 14. And again, 19, which is this, minus 5, which is this, is 14. All right. So as I can actually, yeah, as I told you before, if I click on the origin, I can change, instead of checking this point, I can check this point. So click, and now I can see that the dimension here is 133. And if I click on my ball, it's 130. I mentioned 3 millimeters, but I want it to be 14. So 14 minus 3 is 11. And what I want to change is this dimension. I want to delete 11 of this. So it's 130 minus 11. No, 119. And that's it. Can everybody hear me? Because it says unstable internet.
Well, for me,
Julie?
it's so and so. I'm facing a lot
Julie?
of
Anyone?
stops. Do you hear me?
Anyone, a random person? Me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. Because the computer just showed me that I had connection issues for some reason. All right, let's go on.
We have a
So
question. Do you hear me?
this is actually, if you can go, or you can see.
Sorry, now we lost you.
Yes. Can you hear me? Yorgos, can you hear me? Good. So Marcos is the problem. So let's try to answer Melina's question. Melina asked if we can place the ruler in the middle of the object. Do you mean?
Yes, in the middle of the circle.
In the middle of the circle. I will be waiting for Marcos to be here. I think we can, but there's no point for the reference points. He can say more about that.
Yes, you can put it in the middle.
Paulo top, yes.
Yes, you can put the ruler in the middle.
Okay.
Just press it in the point next to the starting point.
Okay. Waiting for Marcos to come back. We will now put a link in the chat room. So if the evaluation form for this webinar, Marcos is back.
Hello,
Marcos?
guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I had the connections issues after all.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. We have a question. Melina asks if we can place the ruler in the middle of an object, of the circle.
That's a good question. You can actually, I can answer that. I tried to do it by myself. I couldn't find how. And the answer is maybe no. I'm not sure about that. Maybe no. Maybe you have to actually move it by yourself. But a way to do it, let me show you a way to do it really fast.
Paulo says we can do it. So
yes. So he found a way.
Maybe, I don't know, just
you can measure it by the middle if you press
exactly
the circle with those lines.
Okay.
Exactly.
So
that's what I wanted to show you. You can actually make the green arrow dimensions.
Yes.
You can change them to 0, and they will go to the point that you want. So can I show you?
Yes.
Can I show that?
Yes.
Okay. Right. So let me hide those 3. So let's say I have a box here, and I want my ruler, instead of here, to be on the midpoint here. Okay. As we talked about, you can click use midpoint. So now I'm referring to the midpoint, which is 38 millimeters away from my origin at this dimension, let's say X dimension, and at Y dimension, I'm 45 millimeters away. So if I change those to 0 by 0, I just went, now I'm on my midpoint. Okay, so this is one way to do it. If you wanna have it on your midpoint. I hope I answered like that. That was the way I used it. I couldn't just put the ruler on the object, but you can put the object on the ruler. If somebody else has a better question, I can check that out. Maybe there's an answer to that, but that's how I used to do it.
Also, Vangelis says you can group the two circles and then center them in the bigger one. I'm not sure where he's referring. Vangelis, can you tell us what you mean about which part of this presentation are you talking about? Okay, Marcos, go on. Putting the 4 circles. Oh, okay, for putting the 4 circles.
He means the 4 spheres.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we will go back to the 4 spheres. So without further ado, let's start. Let's go back to what we were talking about, because we have only 5 minutes left. So let me hide everything. That's where we were, guys. And let's skip the questions at the end so I can finish that and start the questions at the end. So we have those 2 spheres. What I want to do, let's say that here I can put the number 12 because it's 12 o'clock, and here I can put the number 6 because it's 6 o'clock. But I want to also to use 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. What can I do? I can group those 2. Click, shift click, group, and now they're one object. They work as one. Okay. Let's go back. And I can duplicate them. So now if I rotate the duplicated part by 90 degrees, I have a very symmetrical shape with all the balls on top of the circle. So yeah, that's actually what I wanted to show you. And you can also play with that. You can duplicate, rotate it as much as you want to, create that type of shape. This is on you, and you can play with that rotate design, so you will create your own clock. I may also suggest that you go to the design starters, go to the numbers, and put some numbers there. Okay, that's an orange one. Just let's say here, put the 3 o'clock, put the 6 o'clock here. Try to adjust them, play a little bit, and make a clock. Maybe you use the box and redesign it a little bit in order for it to look like an actual clock. Sorry. So this was, see how fast I created something like a clock. You can make something really better. Let me show you when I was doing the webinar what I created. Well, actually, maybe I have it on my designs here. There it is. I played a little bit and I created this one. Okay. You can create whatever you want. You can make a better one by using the tool that we talk about. If you give some time, you can for sure create a better one. But I really believe that almost all of you can make something like that. And we actually want to see how much you've progressed through those webinars and be ready for the next one, guys. So this is what I wanted to show you. Like, that was the main part of the webinar. If we have some time, maybe we can answer some of your questions and talk about the other stuff the next time. Now, the last thing, sorry, Yuli.
Yeah.
The last thing that tell me.
Do you want this clock to be sent back to us so that everybody will design?
Exactly, that's what I wanted to say. So we all want you to send us a file. How do you do that? Let's say that you designed this part here, okay? You have to export it as a file. And that, as we talked about, and Yuli told you on the first webinar, and I think I mentioned it on my webinar also, we can export files as STL files. So you can click here on the upper right corner, export, and click on the STL like that. And just by clicking on it, the program calculates itself, and as you can see, there it is. There is my file. I can go to my downloads and take the file and use it and actually print it. But what we all want you to do is go to, Yuli will tell us, will they send it to info.enablegreece, Yuli?
Yes. They can send
Okay.
the file at the main mailing list at info, yes, enabling.gr.
Perfect. So maybe you can write it or
Yes, we already have it in the chat room.
perfect.
We do have not a question, a request. If you can show again really quickly how you created the stairs.
The stairs. Okay.
Yes. Sorry, everybody. I think we will stay like 5 minutes more.
So anybody that wants to leave, do you have something to do, guys? We will just revise what we talked before, so you can actually see it on the recorded ones. Or if you understood the stairs, you can leave if Yuli agrees. I don't know. So
yes, but please don't close your browser, because the evaluation form for the webinar will just pop up.
okay, so okay,
Please
we have
fill
the
the
evaluation.
evaluation form and then you can leave.
Okay.
No, you don't. Sorry for interrupting again. Simina, you do not have a deadline for the homework. You can do it whenever you want to.
Yeah. The deadline, I would suggest that it will be the next webinar, because if you actually work on the project on those 2 weeks, like you can prepare yourself for the next webinar, which is more advanced, and you can actually follow me better. And that's why I wanted you to do this type of exercise, in order for it to help you play a little bit and understand how those tools work, because those 5-7 tools are the main ones. Okay, so let me talk about the stairs real fast. So as we said, we have this type of step, and what I want to do, like the most important thing, guys, is not clicking away from the duplicated part. So let's go step by step. Click on duplicate. Now hover and hold your click and drag the duplicated part. Now you can play with it. Just don't click away, okay? I right click and rotate, but still I have it selected, okay? There is no problem.
We've lost Marcus again, I think.
A reference star, depending on the previous one. So that's how it goes. See? Again, it says my internet is unstable. Can you hear me?
Marcus, we have just
hope.
lost you.
Ναι.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
I can hear Marcus.
Γιατί έχω Τι γίνεται ρε παιδιά.
But I can hear Marcus. No, I don't have problems
we
with
can-
Marcus' connection.
We can
No,
hear you
sometimes
now. Don't
is-
worry,
it goes.
it's okay. Just go through again with the stair things. I think Marcos Pereira got it, so it's okay. You can finish your presentation. Okay?
Yuli, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you
Yuli?
hear me? Yes, I can hear you. Yes, yes. I know. Okay.
I think it doesn't hear us.
Yes. So guys, for all of you, thank you for being here with us. If the next webinar is in 3 weeks, let me check the agenda. I'm not sure about
Yes,
that.
on
Marcus, are you-
15th of December.
Yes,
Okay,
15. I've
good.
just checked.
Good. So when you close your, when you leave the meeting, we will have the evaluation form. You can also find it in the chat room. We have put the link, and in a few days you will receive the questionnaire and the homework that Marcus gave you. Marcus, are you back here with us?
Yes, I can hear you. If you can hear me, we can continue.
Okay.
Right.
So is there anything you want to share with the participants?
I hope you understood the last thing with stairs. I hope.
Okay, we have problems with
Okay, there's always the ability to watch the recorded video of this webinar in our website. So you'll have the opportunity to check again what Marcus presented.
Good. And again, if you have some questions and you can wait, you can mail us and we will answer right back to you. So thank you, everybody, and we wish you a nice evening. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye everyone.
Καληνύχτα.
Καληνύχτα.
Καληνύχτα σε όλους. Bye.
Καληνύχτα σας.